Hi there, I'm Tovah and welcome to day number 4 of the 10-day yoga challenge. And today we are working on opening our chest and our shoulders. We're going to begin the practice by coming into resting child's pose. So find some space on your mat, take your knees a little bit or a lot apart as you start to bring your forehead down to your mat. And if it's not easy to reach your forehead, you can use a yoga cushion or a pillow or just stack your fists to give you a little bit of height. Start to let yourself just go inside and quiet down here. And we're going to begin to move out of resting child's pose as we start to work a little bit more on our chest and shoulders, coming into puppy pose. So just coming into high kneeling, where your hips are stacked straight over your knees to start, walking your hands or your arms forward as you bring your elbows down and bring your forehead down to the mat, as you start to sink your chest towards the floor here. And if at any point this feels too strong of a stretch or too intense for you, you're going to start to back off and walk yourself back a little bit further, coming part way, or you could come all the way back into resting child's pose. Maybe turning your thumbs up to the roof if your shoulders or your chest is a little bit tighter. You could also tuck a cushion underneath your head if it's hard for your head to reach the mat. As we lengthen and open through the chest and shoulders, this is also wonderful for the middle of your back or between your shoulder blades. And we're also working to maintain our lower lumbar curve, so that curve that's right in the bottom of your spine, right about where your waistband is. So our back has curves, and those curves are like the support system in a bridge. We need those curves and we want those curves to support our back. But with age, the curvatures in spines start to flatten out. So this is one posture that we can do to help maintain the curvature in our spine, giving our back strength and stability. And this also feels really wonderful if you've had a long day of sitting, working at a computer, driving. Taking just a couple more breaths here. Good, and slowly coming out of that position. Just take your time. And then we're going to come onto our mats. And if you do have a bolster or a small cushion, we'll go ahead and grab them. If you do not, you can definitely do them without. But it is nice if you can have a small cushion underneath your head and then something to rest your knee on. So I'm going to start by lying on my right side. And just like you're coming into the recovery position. And if you have a cushion, tuck it underneath your knee, which is going to be your left leg. If you don't have a cushion here, you could stack your fist and rest your leg that way, or just bring your leg right down to the floor. Stretch your arms out, and I like to call this like an alligator snout. Slide back a little here. Perfect. This is like an alligator snout, and you're going to start by dragging or sweeping your left hand in a circular motion up over your head, trying to keep it on the floor as much as you can. And as you roll open, you're going to reach around. Try to drag your hand on the floor as much as you can. I'm a little tight for space with the fireplace and be able to get the shot in, but you get the idea. And as you come back over your hip, you're going to turn your hand back palm over and bring it back to the first hand. Slowly sweeping up, rolling open, and just continuing to make circles as you roll up and around. Try to reach as far and as big in all directions as you can, trying to keep your knee down on the cushion. And if it rolls off the cushion or further off the floor than where the cushion would be if you don't have one, that means that you're rolling too far over. Okay, and that just means that you should be moving your arm where your arm is not touching the floor, and that's okay. And as we do a couple circles, you'll probably notice it gets a little bit easier, that your hand can drag a little bit more. It means that we're doing some good work there. And if your hand is not able to drag all the way around, then that means that you do have some work that you can do on your shoulder mobility. If you are able to drag all the way touching the floor, that means that your shoulder mobility is pretty good, and it's not something that you need to spend a ton of effort working on. You just want to maintain what you've already got. Let's finish with one last circle here. And when you get all the way around, come back to that alligator position. Just taking your time. Perfect. And we're gonna switch sides here. So this time I am gonna have my back to the camera so that you could see what it would look like with my arm dragging further around. So I'm not getting caught, at least on the back side, with the fire. So lying on your left side now, we start to drag the hand up over the top, rolling open, and then dragging on the bottom. And you can see that my hand doesn't quite drag all the way around. Shoulders is always a little bit tight for me, something that I'm always working on. Making sure you're breathing deep here as you're making these big circles up and around. And this is working on your shoulders, your chest, but also your thoracic spine. So that area in the middle of your back, kind of between your shoulder blades, that area often is tight for people, and it's not an area that's supposed to have a lot of movement, but it is meant to have some movement. And for lots of people, it gets really tight, really locked up. And this exercise can really help with that. Perfect. And let's do one more nice big circle all the way around, making sure that your knee stays down on the cushion if you're using it, or if you're not using a cushion, that it's not coming very far off the ground. Just get your arm as close as you can. Coming back to that alligator position. Good, and when you get there, you're gonna roll all the way onto your back. And if you are using a cushion, you can keep a cushion underneath your head if you like it. You're welcome to take your bolster and tuck it underneath your back, or you can certainly do this without a cushion. And if you're tucking it underneath your back, it can go lengthwise across your back, or it could go horizontal. I'm gonna go with no cushion today, just showing what it would be like if you don't have those cushions available to you. And if you are laying over the cushion in either direction with the cushion, it is going to open through the chest and shoulders a little bit more. So by propping yourself up, it's going to give you a little deeper stretch. So if you find the stretch is really demanding, then definitely take the cushion away if you're using it. Or if you find you need a little stronger stretch, if not today, but in the future, try tucking that cushion underneath. So as we come into lying bound angle, you're going to lie down, maybe with the cushion underneath your back, feet together, knees open. Of course, you could bring your knees to close at any point here and just come into a tented knee position if the stretch through the groin or the lower back becomes too much for you. And because we are working a little bit more on chest and shoulders today, try to bring your arms either out to the sides or start to come into a W or a cactus arm position, which would be like a 90-degree bend in your elbows. Know that if you're doing this on the bolster, you're already getting a little bit deeper chest and shoulder opening. So you may not be able to come into a cactus position. You might be. Maybe arms out by the sides is going to be good for you, or you could be on that cushion just with your arms relaxing down at the bottom. And that could be with no cushion as well. So there's lots of options here depending on how tight you are. But knowing that we should be working towards being able to lie flat on our back with our arms in cactus. So if you know that you cannot do that, that area is tight and it needs some extra stretching, and today's class is perfect for that. So just settling in here for a few more breaths as we open the chest and shoulders just a little bit more. And this arm position might be something that you do when you crawl into bed, just to spend a couple of minutes before you fall asleep, working on stretching out an area that's tight for you. And as we take one last big breath here, as you exhale, start to move away from the position. Coming back to a comfortable seated or kneeling position on your mat. Thank you so much for joining me for day number 4 of the challenge. I hope to see you every day until we get to the end of 10 days, and then some other classes on my channel. Please give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, leave me a comment. Let me know how you liked the class, or if there's other things that you'd like to see in classes. I'm always up for suggestions. Have a wonderful day, everyone. We'll finish the practice with our hands at our heart. Loka samusta sukhinu bhavantu. May all beings everywhere find happiness and freedom. Namaste.